everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I know it has been forever. I do have a couple of little reasons for that. Some of them I'll talk about in this video, but I really just want to use today's video to give you guys like a little bit of an update. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about a new weight loss routine I'm doing and how I'm organizing my life around that. And I do have a few little strategies and things in place that I do want to share with you guys. Mind you, I am just at the beginning of my journey right now. So I do want to bring you guys with me on that journey, and I am going to start by doing body measurements and all that kind of stuff. First, I want to give you guys a little bit of background. A couple of weeks ago, I did break my foot. And while breaking your foot is certainly not the worst thing that can happen to you, with having the moon boot and having all of the whole school and everything, which has really hit me like a ton of bricks this year, you guys. Partly because I do spend a lot of time in transit. I think I've mentioned probably in every video this year that it takes me 2 hours to do the morning school run and 2 hours to do the afternoon school run. So that's like 4 hours in transit. Really does cut into your day. And in that, I'm just doing like Bluetooth calls through my phone. I spend a lot of time on the phone organizing stuff to do with our home build. There have been a few snags along the way, which is pretty much normal for anyone who's building a home. And not that I'm complaining, by the way, because we are incredibly fortunate to be in the situation that we are in, but it takes a lot of time to be able to go through the motions. So that's taken up a lot of time in my world lately. So for me, YouTube has always been something that I like to do for myself, and it's sort of been a way that I can sort of express myself. I know that sounds a bit funny, but it's true. It's sort of my thing that I love to do, and that had to take a little bit of a back seat in between doing all of the other things for other people that I needed to do. And as well as that, my health has taken a huge back seat. And I know you guys are gonna be feeling me on this one. Sometimes you just don't even realize how much you're doing until you get sick and you're like, oh man, now I can't do anything. And in the last couple of days, I just started getting so fluey, so sick. I've been like runny nose. I've caked on the makeup so you guys cannot see how gross these like under eye circles are. But aside from being sick in the last couple of days, overall in the last 6 months, I have just seen a general decline in my health. By the time it gets to the end of the night, I'm so knackered that I just am like, I'm not going to the gym now. There are a lot of night classes that I used to do that I now just don't do. I find that I don't have time to do them, even though I'm really just like, nah, I'm going to bed. So really, I probably do have time to do them, but I'm just so tired that I just don't think I could bring myself to do that one extra thing at the end of the day. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate on that one. The other thing that is a huge problem for me at the moment is meals on the go. I've been having so many takeaways and things because I just don't find that I have enough time to prepare food for myself during the day. I just naturally go for the easiest thing there is to get. And a lot of the time it's when I'm on the road, or I'll grab an easy container of last night's leftovers and eat it in the car, like that scene in Bad Mums where she's eating the spaghetti and it ends up all over her. That is what my life is like right now. And if I'm not eating leftovers, I'm going to Macca's drive-thru like every second day because it's so much easier. But with that, not only am I finding that I'm putting on weight, I put on about 3 kilos in the last 6 months, I'm also finding that I've just got so much less energy because I'm not eating things that are fueling my body properly. So that gives you a little bit of an update on where I've been. I'm hoping to be much more into the routine of doing my videos now that I'm getting a little bit better. I've been focusing on a new diet. I'm finally out of this walking boot. The kids are back at school, so I have got a little bit more time, and I have been filming stuff as well because I do want to start doing more organizational videos for you guys again. That is another reason why I took a break, because I wanted to sort of rehash the stuff I was putting out there and go back to the stuff that I really love, which is organizing. So expect to see a whole lot more of those. Now moving on to the weight loss routine. As I mentioned, I have put on about 3 kilos in the last 6 months, which puts me about 6 kilograms above what I feel more comfortable at. So that's probably about 12, 15 pounds, I think. I've got a bit of weight to lose, not a huge amount, but I do find that I am getting to that point where sometimes I look in the mirror and I feel like, oh, I'm not myself. And that's not something you ever want to have to say. So I'm going to put a few little strategies in place. Some of them I've used in the past that have worked out really well, and some of them are new strategies that I'm trying. And I've just sort of combined them into a little routine, and I'm just going to give it a try, and I will update you guys along the way on how I'm going. So I'll probably do another update in about a month, and then maybe, you know, a month after that or a couple of weeks after that. Depends how long it takes me to get to my goal. I'm hoping that I could sort of get there in about 2 months, but we'll see. I don't know. So the first strategy I'm going to be using is my mentality. This is something that is all in my head. The only thing that I've ever tried that actually does work is simple science, and that is calorie counting, which is, sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not a good thing. I know people can misuse it and it can become a dangerous thing. But a few years ago, I read this book called Crunch Time by Michelle Bridges. I don't think it's sold anymore because she now sells it as like a 12-week bikini body program. But back then, it was all in the book. And if you can get your hands on this book, it is fabulous. At the beginning of the book, she explained the whole psychology of losing weight, and it really shifted my mentality about losing weight the right way. And I lost a lot of weight by using that mentality. A lot of people now are saying to eat, you know, for me, I think it's about 1,200 calories that I would burn in a day doing nothing. But then, of course, you're doing activity throughout the day, like running around after kids and things like that. So a lot of the nutritionists now are saying, you know, eat 2,000 calories in the day, but just make sure that you're eating better food. So lots of vegetables like green beans and broccoli and cauliflower. They're all foods that when you eat, you actually burn more calories eating than what there are in the food, if that makes sense. So by eating more of those and eating, say, 2,000 calories worth of those and other foods, you're actually increasing your metabolic rate. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start by eating probably about 1,500 calories in a day, but increase massively the amount of greens and things that I'm putting in my diet, because I know automatically that's gonna do wonders for my overall health. I'm also gonna work on focusing on the measurements, not the scales. So I think before I did mention that I was probably about 6 kilograms above where I feel comfortable at or where I'm happiest at. But when I was 6 kilograms lighter than what I am now, I also did all of my body measurements. And I've actually got a video on our Join the Jacksons channel, which I will link probably down below. And that was sort of at my lowest weight. That was at my most comfortable weight. And ideally, I probably just want to get back to those measurements. So I'm going to start by measuring myself, doing all of those measurements in this video and working back towards those. And the reason I want to do that is because I've found in the past, I've been able to get back to those exact measurements, but I've been a couple of kilos heavier because I've built a lot of muscle. That was when I was doing a lot of workouts. Like I was working out 3 or 4 times a week, and I'd built so much muscle that was obviously just taking up a little bit more weight in my body. But physically, I was the same as what I was when I was those few kilos lighter, if that makes any sense. Moving on to diet, this is something which I've always had trouble with, and currently, like I mentioned, I'm having a little bit of trouble with because I'm finding that I don't have much time to prepare my food. So when I sort of got to the stage where I was like, nah, I'm gonna lose some weight, I'm gonna be very serious about losing some weight, I need to get healthier, I need to work on how I'm feeling overall at the moment, I wrote a list of all of the things that I thought were the problem. The first one, like I mentioned, was my mentality. The second issue was the fact that I was not taking the time to prepare my meals, and therefore I was eating takeout options and putting on weight that way. And the third thing was the fact that I didn't have time to work out. So in terms of making better food choices for myself, I had to have a really good think about how logistically I was gonna make this work. Like in my mind, I was thinking, yeah, I'm gonna eat all of these vegetables, I'm gonna eat like lean chicken, I'm gonna eat like good fish, all of these foods, and I didn't take into consideration that the issue in the first place was that I don't really have time to prepare these foods. So I had to spend a little bit of time sussing out options as to how I was gonna fix this problem. How was I gonna make myself have more time to prepare food? One of those things was cutting out my grocery shopping, and anyone can do this from home because I know a lot of grocery stores these days offer delivery. So you can basically go online, order all of the ingredients that you want to buy and have them delivered to your house, which for me means that I don't have to drag 3 children out to the shopping center for an hour to go and buy all of those groceries. It gives me more time to actually make a whole bunch of meals in one go. The only issue with that is that I would actually have to sit down and plan out all of my meals at the beginning of the week. That is something I actually used to be really good at doing a year or two ago. I planned out all of our meals 2 weeks in advance, and then I only bought the ingredients that we were planning on eating, and nothing ever went to waste. It was an incredibly economic way to live. However, these days I feel like I barely have time to sit down and plan out all the meals, which is when I came across a brand called HelloFresh. And I think there's a few brands like this out and about at the moment, but HelloFresh is one of the ones that I've been hearing about for quite a while now. And what they do is they're a delivery service. They deliver your groceries just like Coles or Woolworths would, but it's all fresh ingredients. They bring you your meat, your vegetables, your spices, your herbs. All of it is pre-packaged and delivered to you, and they only send you the exact amounts that you're going to need. So once again, it's very economical. You're not spending money on groceries that are going to be thrown out. And as well as that, they actually give you the recipes for the meals that you're going to be making with those ingredients. So I was like, hallelujah, done and dusted. Obviously, there's some things that you're not going to get in these boxes, like school snacks or milk or other things that you need to buy throughout the week. And you're still going to have to go and either buy those in store or order them from one of the other grocery stores online. But the HelloFresh service just has mainly your main meals covered. So I guess you could kind of see it as like a Lean Cuisine or Jenny Craig service where they prepare your meals and deliver them to you, except you are still taking that time to prepare your own meals with proper fresh ingredients. So the first box that I've ordered is the family box, and I'm going to use that to create a couple of meals. I might let you guys know how I'm going with it in my vlogs throughout, you know, the coming weeks, but I will give you guys another update in about 4 weeks time on how that's been going. And then lastly, in terms of my exercise, now, like I said, I finally got this boot off so I can actually start doing something again, but I don't feel like I have the time or even the energy at the end of the day to go out and work out. In the morning, not a problem. I can work out easily in the morning because it's the first thing I do in the day. You wake up, you do a workout, and then I feel after that you generally have a little more energy throughout the day because you get those endorphins going from exercising. So I am going to try and do my workouts in the morning. Having said that, I have children who sometimes they wake up at 6, sometimes they wake up at 5, sometimes they are fine to eat their breakfast by themselves, sometimes they need help. There's all sorts of things that they need me for in the mornings. That means I can't really be leaving the house. So some of the options for things that you can be doing home is, as I mentioned earlier, the Crunch Time book. If you can ever get your hands on that, it is absolutely brilliant. It is that 12-week challenge that Michelle Bridges offers online for people now, and I think you do actually have to pay for that, but it's all in the book. All of the food recipes, all of the workouts, week by week, they're amazing. Or there are a whole bunch of apps out there right now. I know there's the Kayla It Scenes. How long is her challenge? Is hers a 30-day bikini body challenge? There's 28 by Sam Wood, and these are all Australian ones, you guys, so I apologize if you're unfamiliar with them. I'm sure there are probably lots of different fitness apps out there on the market that you can use. Personally, I have paid for the 28 by Sam Wood one before, and I didn't really use it. I don't know why. I feel like the fact that I paid for it made me not want to use it. And I just found that the workouts were making me angry. Like, they are really tough workouts. I know there's some of you out there who probably like, you know, do those in a heartbeat and don't even blink an eyelid. But for me, I found them really difficult and I just didn't want to do them because that was 28 minutes of just like death for me. Whereas the app that I came across earlier this year, which is just the best app I've ever come across, is the Nike training app. This thing is the bomb. Not only can you track your weight loss, you can also track like circuits that you've done. It gives you a whole bunch of free workout videos with lots of different goals in mind. So when you start up the app, you can put in what your weight loss goals are, and how many days a week you feel comfortable with working out, whether you're a beginner, whether you're intermediate, whether you're advanced, and they can develop a plan for you. So it takes a couple of minutes to sign up and it has a whole plan set out for you. Alternatively, you can just flick through all of the different workouts on the days that you want to work out. And they range from 6-minute little burst workouts to like 45-minute workouts. So it's really easy to work your way up the ladder by starting small. And honestly, you guys, even if you do a 6-minute workout, if you're sweating by the end of that 6 minutes, you're doing something and you're working on your fitness. So the next day you might be able to try a 7-minute workout and then an 8-minute workout and work your way up. And by not forcing myself to do like a full 28 minutes of sweating it out, being able to select what I want to do in that workout, whether I want to work on my cardio, whether I want to work on my abs on that particular day. If I've got a sore foot, then I know I can work on, I don't know, my arms. There's so many different options that you can tailor to you as an individual that I think it's just such a brilliant app to use. So I highly recommend that one. That is the one that I'm going to be using over the next couple of weeks. I would love to work out for 30 minutes 3 times a week, and I hope you guys would be willing to follow me along this journey. I'm looking forward to it, and I feel really positive about the steps that I'm going to be taking. Now I'm just going to quickly go through and do those body measurements for you guys to use as like a starting point, and like I said, we'll do it in another couple of weeks and see how I'm going and see how my progress is matching up to, you know, the measurements that I felt really comfortable in a couple of years ago before Archie was born. So I've done a quick change of clothes into something that I can actually do my measurements on, and like I said, it's definitely not where I feel comfortable, and because I'm such a short person, I'm about 5'1" or 5'1.5", 6 kilograms is a lot on my frame, so I'm definitely not in a place where I feel sort of confident within myself, so please be kind. All right, so to start off with, we have the mid section. All of the measurements that I did originally were all in inches, so this one here, okay, so that's actually 72 centimeters around there, and I will have up on the screen what that is in inches. Then around, you know, the 2 inches below my belly button mark, gonna have to make sure that I'm positioning this right, is about 77 centimeters there. Around my bottom, the biggest part of my bottom, which I know is going to be the biggest part for me to lose weight, or for most girls really, because you get those hips, especially after you've had babies. So that is 102 centimeters around there. The thickest part of my thigh, which once again is sort of a problem area for me because that's just my body shape. I've always been someone to have a lot of curve to me. I've always had like the big bust, big booty and big hips, which at the moment is sort of working in my favor with all the Kardashians and all of that going around at the moment. It's actually taught me to respect my body a lot more than I used to. I used to just want to have like the straight up and down skinny catwalk model figure because that was all we promoted in media. So a lot of people put down like the Kardashians and, you know, people with the more fuller figures, but for me, I'm like, come on, like let's appreciate women with a bit of curve, hey? Going back to the sizes, we've got around the thickest part of my thigh, we've got about 58 centimeters there. At the moment, I look very pear-shaped because naturally, come down to your level, naturally when you have babies, you lose a bit of boob, which is sort of what's happened to me. Boob is not something I really worry about too much because it's natural to lose a lot there when you have babies. We've got about 80.5 centimeters, and then around my arm, which is something that is really hard to lose weight around here. 27 centimeters around there. So I think that's all of the measurements that I've done so far. They're not like dress standard measurements. They're just the measurements that I know I took a couple of years ago. And I definitely want to head back to being more around that size because it's something that I felt a lot more confident in. Mind you, it is more about just being healthy and being happy and feeling like I have a little bit more energy during the day. Alright everyone, so like I said, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this that are sort of, you know, organisationally or routine focused. And other than that, I'll see you guys all next week. Bye!